guys, what's up? My name is Brianne, and today we're here at Poema Studios with Hector.
What's up? What's up? My name's Hector. I am the owner of Rosas Flowers, a floral design studio in Sylmar, California, out in the valley.
What is the story behind Rosas Flowers, your business?
My mom started that. So I was in college. She called me one day. She said, "Hey, there's a spot coming up, and what do you think?" I told her, "Let's do it. You should get the lease." And ever since, that was 2010. We've been in business since then. So
You've been working with your mom since 2010?
on the weekend, yeah, I had other jobs here and there, but every weekend I always worked with her.
Mm-hmm.
So since 2010, and I officially made it full time not too long ago. So I'm there now.
Where do we begin with like the booking process?
It's usually starts through email,
Okay.
and I try to keep it very quick. I don't like a lot of what's your vibe, or by the time by the time they reach out to me, they already have a vision what they want. They have Pinterest boards, so I just ask for that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your Pinterest board, and how much? What do you need exactly? And then from there, I'll make a sample if they like it, and we go from there. And yeah, I mean it's pretty. I try to keep things simple. I don't like the whole. I guess since 2010 to now, I've seen the change in the industry. Back then, a wedding planner would go with you, and then you would talk to them. They would show you what the clients needed. There was a lot of back and forth, and now I just like going straight to the point because I guess that's how I am too. When I'm buying something, I just straightforward, whatever's easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I try to use that energy with the clients just to make it simple.
Mm-hmm. So they reach out to you, and then you ask for their Pinterest board, their inspiration. And then from there, you come up with like a custom quote for them, or do you ask what their budget is?
I go with the budget first.
Okay.
Too. And then I try to narrow it down to what they need and what they don't need. Most of the time, you see things on Instagram, on Pinterest, and there's flowers everywhere, which is not realistic to, I guess, the average customer. There's budgets, and my demo, they're, I would say 20 to 30.
Okay.
So they're not, I mean, their budget's gonna be a lot smaller. So I always try to tell people, always upcycle or recycle your flowers. If you got something for the ceremony, use those for the reception. If you have other flowers somewhere else, make sure you're using those again, so you're not spending money everywhere. Which sucks for me because I can make more money, but I try to save couples money.
Yeah. Because I mean, you were there
Exactly.
once before too. So were we, with paying for weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then mine, I mean, for my wedding, it was cheaper because, I mean, we owned the flower shop. So we just bought the flowers and made them. But even then, I always tell people, what's your goal when you're trying to get married? Or what are you trying to do after? Honeymoon? Or what's your main priority? If it's not flowers, and I tell them, okay, so it's not flowers. Let's not go crazy. Save the money. Use it for what's important for you. If you're trying to buy a house, use whatever you're saving here somewhere else. And couples always end up being happy. I guess they like that I'm being honest with them, and
Oh yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
just trying to charge whatever it is that other vendors do, which I know the prices of other people, and I'm always the lower end.
So that was actually another question I wanted to ask you, because usually budget is kind of like the first
Exactly.
thing that couples think about when they're planning their wedding and how they're going to allot, how much to each part of it. So what would you say is the typical range of a florist in Southern California? And then where do you fall within?
I've seen people at 10,000. I've seen quotes at 10,000, 5 to 10,000. It's pretty average. My probably around 2 to 3 because they're not the biggest weddings either. And the couples I do get, they're more chill, their budget's smaller, and then it's more fun, honestly. So they're more intimate spaces. I love doing some in downtown LA, smaller stuff, and it's just fun.
Yeah,
It keeps the passion for like what I love to do.
that's good. That's definitely good, because weddings can be super stressful, especially with the flowers, because they're alive,
Exactly.
And actually that would be a good thing to ask too, is what does it look like leading up to a wedding day, with live floral pieces for you guys on the back end?
I try to get everything by Wednesday. So if the event's on Saturday, by Wednesday I have all the flower and I'm cleaning everything. making sure that everything's right, because even if it's fresh flowers, by the time I open them, some of them were broken, or I can't even use them.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of cleaning, have the vases ready a week before, just to have them ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably Thursday, start adding all the greens, and Friday finish everything.
So day before
Yeah.
is when it's like hustle time,
Exactly.
and you're putting all the pieces together.
The day of, if it's an arch, I try to set everything up at the studio first, and then just go set that up, do the final touches, remove flowers that are dead or maybe they broke,
Mm-hmm.
and that just final stuff. It doesn't take that much either.
So we were talking about budget, and you said between 2,000 to 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
What does that include in it? What does the arrangement setup look like for you guys?
It depends. So most of the stuff is, I guess, specific to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want an arch or two arches. Most people want their sweetheart table covered, and they don't want centerpieces, or they want the centerpieces for the ceremony on the floor. So it all depends. But what I tell people, just get your centerpieces,
Mm-hmm.
your sweetheart table, your bridal bouquet. That's like your priority.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is up to you, the customer. So centerpieces to me is just the main thing.
So not even the arch? The arch isn't like a
Arch.
main...
No, I mean, nowadays people are getting married outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, if you're getting married in Big Bear, for example, that's nice out there.
Yeah.
What's gonna be a nicer rose or a big old pine tree?
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. So you'll typically tell people, you'll ask them where they're going to get married
Yeah.
and like what the scene looks like.
Exactly.
And then you kind of give them like an
What works for them?
idea
Yeah.
of how...
Unless they want flowers there, then I mean, of course, I'm gonna say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'll still look nice, but it's up to them. It always changes though.
Mm-hmm.
Centerpieces, bridal bouquet, sweetheart table.
Those are the basics that you usually... So not even boutonnieres too.
No, I don't even recommend boutonnieres anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I've seen couples, they sometimes don't even wear them, like the groomsmen.
Mm-hmm.
They won't have them on, or they lost them, or because they're having fun before the event.
Yeah.
They're drinking, or they're outside. By the time they're doing the ceremony, they're gone. So I always tell people, save the money. You don't need them. If the groom wants it, then we'll do that for them.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes back to your style. Like, I didn't wear one.
You didn't?
Mm-mm. When I got married, I didn't wear one either.
Oh. I don't remember. Oh, so yeah, fun fact for everybody watching. We did Hector and his wife's wedding back in 2019, which is how we became friends kind of in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I mean, it was kind of a long time ago, so my memory fails me, but I think pretty much every wedding I see people wearing boutonnieres. So I'm surprised to hear.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if they just wear a vest and a shirt.
Oh, then where are you going to put it?
Exactly.
Because usually it's on the lapel.
Yeah. There's been a change now. You want a flower pocket. So you put flowers inside the pocket.
Oh.
It's changing.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be, I guess, pretty popular this year, next year, I think.
New trend.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before. People are asking for it?
And I'm predicting it too.
You're predicting it? You're speaking into the future. How early would you say is a good point to book a florist?
Your typical florist, I would say a year.
A year?
With me, you can do it, I would say 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can take 2 events in one weekend. So it depends on your team as well. So me and my mom work together, so I don't mind having 2 events on one Saturday or one weekend. So as long as the details are moving on and from the event, then 3 months for me is fine.
Mm.
But most of the time, like a year.
For most florists. Why would you say 3 months? Like as opposed to like...
A weekend.
Yeah. The week before or like the month before.
If I'm free, I'm free. I'm down. But most of the time, you're pretty busy, and then you have life either the same way. Like if they call you a week before, then it's harder because now it's too stressful.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go find flowers. You have to make a sample. It's just a lot of work. I don't want to make something and the customer not be happy with it.
So like a week, would a month be too rushed also?
Probably not.
No?
You just have to work faster. Get the sample ready. Make sure deposits in
Mm-hmm.
because then you have to use that deposit to buy the flowers. And
Right.
you just work faster.
So you make a sample for every client.
Yeah. Just a centerpiece.
Uh-huh.
Everything else is, I guess, made on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Do you typically help couples figure out like the color scheme, the design of it? Oh, you mentioned that people usually have inspiration
Yeah,
already, right?
not they. Yeah, because I guess Pinterest is a big thing for wedding planning.
Mm-hmm.
They have your mood board and they say, "Oh, my colors are white and yellow." So then the flower, okay, I'll just do a yellow, some white if they want it, whatever it is. I go based on the client.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, I mean, the goal will be for me to just, hey, can we book you and you design everything? That's the goal.
Do you get a lot of those?
I found it a few,
Yeah.
which is a lot easier. It's the best because that's when my creative side comes in and I just have fun.
Mm-hmm. So
I,
then,
I do enjoy it. So it's not just I do it for the money or I do it because I have to do it. It's something that I enjoy.
so when you start designing pieces yourself, when you have free reign, where does your style typically fall into? How would you describe it?
I guess nature. Because I like using. My dad's a landscaper. My mom's a florist. So I've always been around
Perfect
flowers.
match.
Yeah, and it works out. Like for this, my dad brought me these.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he was printing some house and working on it. He's like, "Oh, here." So I used all of it. The rest, I've been drying them forever. So it's just stuff that you see in the garden, or you're out in the wild. You see dry stuff. You see grass growing. It's very just natural.
Organic
Yeah,
feeling.
a lot of browns and reds. I guess it's just more natural.
Mm-hmm.
Very organic. I don't like the super round stuff. The very formal. That's my style. Just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I just translate that to everything because I guess I go back from my previous business. I had a food truck and it was more of a street style, a lot of skateboarding and just a lot of graffiti everywhere. And I bring that, I guess, to this, like just the wild side of something and just creativity.
And I think the style of a lot of weddings has leaned more towards that organic
I've
look
seen it.
anyway.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the stuff you create that feels a little more inspired. Couples tend to, when they're coming to book you, they've already seen some of your work, so they'll probably lean more towards that. At least that's what we've noticed.
They do. Yeah.
With you were saying you usually get a little bit more like laid back and
Yeah, so
cool
they'll come like,
clients.
"Oh, we trust you. What can you make?" And
Mhm.
we trust your vision. Do something cool. And like,
That's the best.
That's it. Really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I booked, I was like, "Oh, I trust you guys." I seen your work when you guys just started. And I saw like, I'm not gonna tell. Oh, can you get these type of angles? Can you? No, it's just you gotta trust the artist, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because you guys are artists yourselves.
Oh, so you said people bring in the inspiration photos from Pinterest. Is there ever a point where they bring too much inspiration to you?
Yes and no, because yeah, they do. They'll bring like 10 different bouquets. Can you make something like all these 10? Like it's pretty hard to make. Like
To make 1 into 10.
into 10. It's very. So I'll just get the color scheme of it, or I see there's a main flower in all of them. If there's a trend, I'll use that trend. Or I ask them, is there a flower you hate? I won't use that. You want something specific from these 10? And then I'll make my own. I always tell them, yeah, I can't make the same thing. I won't be able to do it. I'll try, but I'm going to switch up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the sample comes in.
Oh, I see. Do you ever have difficulty like going back and forth with brides and grooms about something like that? No, people are pretty.
No, they understand.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, yeah, but I'm sure you can. Or also, I guess the way I am too, and the customers I'm getting, I guess I reach out to the customers that I want.
Mhm.
So they understand it too. Like, oh, okay, this is just a sample. You're gonna have fun with your own thing. Make it unique. At the end of the day, you want something unique for your own wedding.
Mhm.
So that's the aspect of changing what they bring.
This is something that I've become aware of in the past because I've just talked with other florists before. And it has to do with the seasons and people requesting specific flowers, and then they don't understand that
Yeah.
like everything's seasonal. Could you tell me a little bit more about picking certain flowers and what seasons? And
It's tough because especially June. So June, people get married in June, so flowers are more expensive. White flowers are more expensive in June than December. So just things like that. It's just, and it'll bring you a photo, right? If you go back to the Pinterest, if I have, what's it, like a peony from December to June, they're going to be different. Sometimes you won't even find them in December sometimes.
Because they're not in season,
Yeah.
right?
And they want to get married in December, but they want peonies. So it's a balance of what you want and what you need, and balance of understanding, okay, it's not possible, or it is possible, but it's going to cost more. There's a couple that they want to get married in February. I'm like, okay, it's February. Flowers are more expensive in February because it's Valentine's Day. Not because of the weddings, but Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And then April through May, they're more expensive because of Mother's Day. And then June, the summer, are the weddings. So there's that huge time frame where flowers are more expensive naturally. So that's the more demand. And so I explain that to them, especially they come for February weddings. I tell them, okay, just a heads up, they're going to be more pricier this month. And by that time, like, oh, okay, we didn't think about that. That might help them push the date to March or another month. Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's if they come to me first. By that time, hopefully they don't have everything booked. But if they already have the hall booked and everything else, and it's just a heads up, like, oh, by the way, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for February because of Valentine's Day.
Because of specific holidays. And it's the wholesalers are the ones that are raising the prices like that? Maybe it's a Southern California thing. Is it, so they're not necessarily that one flower is seasonal. It's a matter of like, it's just more expensive.
Yeah.
Depending on the season because it's.
And the economy. So even last year or even 2 years ago, when lumber was expensive, it was the same thing with flowers. And should I even talk about like my prices like that?
Yeah. I think that's helpful information for people.
For example, like say 2 years ago, you were getting flowers for like $30. When on that normal day, they were $10.
Oh, shoot.
And that's wholesale.
Yeah.
And then from there, we had to make money too. And then February, you can get it the same, like $40 for a specific flower, wholesale. And then by March, they're $12.
That's a big price fluctuation.
And I'm transparent with customers. So I let them know, like, oh, this month, it might be cheaper. So I'll give you a better price. I don't have a set price for everyone.
Right.
I try to help people out.
Yeah. That's honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if the price fluctuation is that big, I had no idea it's that much.
Oh, I don't think flowers, I guess nowadays, flowers are becoming more expensive because there's a lot of people that want to be florists now. And yeah, they have the right to increase the price. Why not? If the money's right. But I want my flowers to be, anyone can get them, not just a higher end customer. So I'm always transparent with everyone. Like, oh, it's cheaper here, it's cheaper there. Use this flower instead. It'll still look nice. And then that's where my creativity comes in, to make a cheap flower look nice.
So what would you recommend to couples who are trying to be really budget friendly? So say the flowers aren't necessarily their main priority. What are the biggest things that you tell them to keep it budget friendly?
Just do something small, like small centerpiece. Like this is not a centerpiece. This is way too big for a centerpiece because of height. So you can't really talk to each other across. So do something small. Splurge on the bouquet.
Would you say maybe like half that size?
Yeah.
For a centerpiece?
Don't DIY it because then you spend more time doing it.
So you wouldn't recommend people DIY their flowers at all?
So much work. So much work. You can save money. I have people do that too. Like, oh, I want to make my own stuff. Can you let me know where you buy it? Yeah, go here. And they come back, oh, can you make me this stuff? I'll buy you the flowers. Because then they realize it's a lot of work. Like, no, by the time, like, nah.
So you wouldn't say, so you'd say, don't DIY it, but just scale it down.
Just scale it down.
Yeah.
Because then you're stressed out. You're not going to enjoy your day. I mean, we get stressed out. You get stressed out when you're working on an event. Now imagine you're getting married and you're doing your own photos and you're doing your flowers and you have to bake a cake. And
yeah. Well, you guys are kind of in the same boat as us, huh? Because you did your own flowers. We tried to do our own photo video stuff. And it's like you just ended up, well, I suppose you did yours like before the actual event. Ours is happening during the event. So it's like, it's
why
silly.
go through that instead of enjoying everything? So
no, I completely agree. And then probably focus, you were saying focus on just do smaller centerpiece, Focus
A
on the
nicer,
bouquet.
nicer bouquet because I always go back to photos. I love photography, so I always tell them, "What's your goal for your photos? Are you gonna print them out?" Like so, and most of the time they do want to print them out, or they care about the photos. That's okay. There you go. Make it have a nice bouquet, so your photos look nice.
Of the couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always go back to that. Like think about your photos
Mm,
down the line. What are you gonna see,
that's a
or
great
what do you
tip.
want to see? Yeah.
And then you'd probably say not do an arch, or is
Or you
that
can do pillars or just two large pieces.
Mhm,
I go with large pieces because they're cheaper
mhm.
instead of a full arch. They look nice.
And then you could probably reuse that too for the
Yeah.
reception. Take it from the ceremony arch and then take
To the sweetheart table or put
Yeah.
them in the entrance by the welcome sign. Just recycle your stuff.
Mhm.
It shouldn't be. I don't think your wedding should be very stressful. That's what I think.
I agree.
Yeah, like, have fun. That's always something. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Because then you're just stressed out. When I got married, during the ceremony, the baker called me.
During the
During the
ceremony?
ceremony, she kept calling me, and we got out, and she's like, "This is the cake. I can't finish it." I don't know if she was stressed. I don't know what happened with her. She was stressed out. I looked at the photo, and I just like, you know what? Bring what you can. I'm not gonna worry about this. She ended up fixing the cake herself. She brought it,
Mhm.
but I didn't even get mad or anything. It was like, just do what you have to do. Like that's your profession. Like you do it,
Mhm.
and I kept having fun.
I think I remember that actually.
It was horrible.
That being an
I saw
issue.
that photo. It was
Of the cake?
yeah. Like now I see. I'm like, what was she thinking? Like, don't send your customer that. Like,
Yeah.
fix it yourself and just bring the cake.
What are some typical extra costs that couples might incur when they book a florist? Aside from, the flowers themselves, is there extra costs involved?
Recently, insurance.
Insurance?
Yeah, I've been to venues in the past where they don't ask for insurance or anything, like a specific insurance. And recently, I go back to those venues even this month. Like, oh, they're asking for insurance now. I'm like, okay. So like things like that, keep in mind. Oh, can you cover the insurance for us, or can you pay? Is that an extra charge? Delivery.
Mm,
I went to Big Bear not so long ago, so I charged them gas.
because that's a long
It was
drive.
a long drive. What else? What else? Rental for vases. There's couples that they want to rent out a specific vase. So keep that in mind instead of. But what I do, I go back to budget. I tell them, hey, use this vase right here. It's plastic. It looks like this. Your your guests can take them home. And it's cheaper than renting out the vase just to make it look nice. At the end of the day, it gets covered by flowers.
Mhm.
So you don't really see the nice vase.
At the end of the day, do you have to come and pick everything back up if they rent vases from you?
Yeah. Another reason why I don't recommend renting vases. I don't want to go back.
So you don't have to go.
I want to be at home. Have a baby. That's priority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going back.
So,
I'll give you a discount if you bring the vases back.
okay.
Yeah. I keep it easier for me too.
That's good to know too. So vases are extra to
Mhm.
rent vases.
Even
And then-
arches sometimes too. With Amazon, there's been a trend of clients, they want their own arch. So they'll go on Amazon, they'll buy it out. That's another thing. Like I have my own arch, but it's square wooden one. It's not, I want a hexagon, I want a triangle. So that's another thing that you need to purchase.
But they purchase it themselves typically. You don't have that.
Yeah, I want to buy a triangle arch for one event.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sitting there. But by that time, the customer, they already know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So they already purchased it before they even come to me.
Do you have to charge extra to people if they bring their own arch and then you have to design specifics
No.
with the no?
People do. I don't. There's even florists that they charge you for designing the centerpiece. So there's a design fee.
Oh, interesting.
I don't do that.
But yours is just all
Yeah.
included in it.
Yeah, there's a design fee. And this is coming from friends that are also in the industry. Design fee. I've seen like to cover their help for the day, they have to pay an extra fee for that, which to me is like, what for? They're already paying you for the whole thing. You pay them out of your pocket now.
Mm-hmm.
I see it more as a business side, so I understand those type of things. But there's a fee for that too, delivery setup fee. There's a what else? Consultation fee. That's another one, which I don't charge any of those.
Mm-hmm.
I just do setup, and that covers whoever is helping me out,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
What have some of your past experiences been on wedding days with other vendors at the event? Good or bad?
Good. Well, recently there's been more event planners, and I think I've always struggled working with event planners because I like working directly with the couples. At the end of the day, it's their wedding, it's their event. They know what they want. There's a time there was a vendor. They came into the studio with the couple. The wedding planner came a little late, so by the time they came in, I already talked to the couple. I already knew what they wanted. The bride's like, "Oh yeah, I love that style. I love that the bouquet style." Like she was all for it, and we're like, "Okay, let's do it." And then the wedding planner came in. And she's like, "Oh, I don't think she wants that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "She likes this style." She's like, "No, I think what she's going for is more of this vibe." She took out her own photos and this color, and she likes this flower instead. And I'm like, "No, we just talked for like the last 30 minutes. I know what they want." And at the end of the day, when they left, she's like, "Oh, can you make sure you send me the invoice instead? I need to review everything." I'm like, "What?" Like, they're booking me, not you.
Mm-hmm.
It's things like that. At the end of the day, I didn't send them the invoice because like I'm not gonna work with these.
Because you already talked with the couple directly.
Yeah, but I didn't even send the couple anything either. They were cool, but then I was like, I don't want to work with that party planner because I'm already stressed out, and we haven't even booked anything.
Mm-hmm.
That I can't imagine what it's gonna be like later on,
On the day of working the
or
wedding?
even just the process of it of the whole time.
Oh.
There's some, I guess there's people that are just constant like every week, which is they have the right to it, but I'm also have other events going on, and
Mm-hmm.
we're a brick and mortar, so we're open every day, so we have
Right.
other things to do work on. But then yeah, she was like, "No, hey, send me everything," and everything the vendor wanted, it was the opposite of what the couple wanted.
Oh no. So it was what the vendor wanted? It wasn't even what the couple.
Yeah, which is so weird. I was like, that threw me off.
And you can already see the red flags, then it might not be
Yeah.
a good fit.
And the couples are cool. Like we already had agreed to it. It's just a event planner.
Is that the only one that you've experienced?
Recently, yeah, but back in the day,
Way back then.
back. Well, because I've been doing it for like almost 10 years, just being around my mom and helping her out. Back then, the wedding planners they were very lazy, so we would show up on site and we would ask them like, "Where do you guys want this, or where is this going? Is there a plan?" They never helped out. They were just there collecting the check with their clipboard, just standing next to the bride and the groom, giving them time. And then we would go back to the groom and like, "Hey, they said they don't have the plan ready, or what's going on? Where do you want this?" It always backfired. So for a while, I didn't recommend wedding planners.
Mm.
Now there's a change, and there's younger people doing it, which they're pretty good at it. And they do a lot of help. So it's a big change, but I've always struggled working with wedding planners
That's interesting.
back in the day. Now it's cool.
Yeah.
There's some good ones out there too now. Like they have everything on point. There was one I worked with not so long ago. She made a PDF like of the tables for everyone. Like she had all the vendors set up. Like I showed up and I knew exactly what I needed to do, what they wanted, everything.
Oh, that's
It was so
perfect.
good, yeah. It was the best. I recommend those.
Yeah. That's perfect for us to be able to do our job better. Because we usually would recommend getting a planner or at least getting a coordinator. So that way you can have more organization. But then again, we haven't really had a ton of bad experiences with wedding planners to the point where we'd be like, yeah, don't get one because you don't need one.
Yeah.
You know, I think everything tends to run a little bit more smoothly when you have one. But I suppose it depends on even if they're like, they have to be good at what they do.
Yeah, they had a schedule for a photographer. Like, oh, they're gonna start the shoot at this time. The bouquets need to be ready at this time. So it was on point. Like everyone knew what they needed to do, which was good. And I'm the opposite. I always recommend, oh, you have a family member, they'll help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Get them instead. I'm the opposite. But that's because of my experience.
Right. Yeah, because we usually say the opposite. We're like, don't use a family member.
Which I remember you guys told us that. I remember when we got married. And I was like, nah, we're good. Like I already it might be a cultural thing too, because my family's big. And they're always
Yeah.
helping out. It might be a cultural thing as well. But hey, if it saves you money, it saves you money.
That's true too. Yeah. I think one of the reasons that we don't usually recommend using a family member is because they just don't have the level of organization that like a seasoned
fun.
or they're having fun. Yeah. And you'd hate for like your mom or your dad to work on your wedding day, right? You want them to enjoy it and party and like your dad got out on the dance floor and he was enjoying
having
himself.
fun.
Yeah. So you want them to experience that rather than to be worrying about all the little logistical
Yeah.
details.
They're good now. I mean, there's a lot of young event planners nowadays. And that's a trend that I saw. I mean, it's just not too long ago, and there's a lot of new event planners and they love what they do. You can tell. So they're on point. They'll email us like, hey, you have insurance for this? Can you send it back? Or they're good at, oh, can you ask me questions so I won't stress the couple out? That's important.
That's really important.
So I talk to them on the day of, and it's pretty smooth. That's a big change from before when I used to see it, it was like, oh, it was horrible. Now, I mean, it's pretty cool working with people.
That's good. Yeah. So overall, good experiences aside from the one recently.
Yeah. Don't do that.
What about any? What have your experiences been with like parents of the bride and the groom? Have you had any difficulty? Everyone's pretty chill.
All right, there was an event last year, and there was some sort of grass on the floor, and the arch was on the grass. I needed to step on the grass, and the dad came out. He's like, "Can you not step on the grass?"
Was that it at their house or?
No, it was a venue.
Oh, okay.
I was like, "Yeah, well, but I'm trying to set the arch up. The arch, you guys have it on the grass." He's like, "Well, you can't step on it because it's gonna look ugly for when they walk." I'm like, "What?" You can't argue at that point. You just have to be quiet. It was worse. I'm literally working like my knees, trying to pick everything up. It made it so hard.
You're like, let me just fly and
it was
levitate.
It was so hard. Like, how do you? I had a ladder on the grass too. Like, oh, can you be careful because of the grass? I'm like, bro.
Well, that sounds easy.
That was the only thing. Besides that, everyone's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah, maybe it's easier for me because I just go and set everything up, and I'm out. I don't really stay there for. I grab my photos if I remember to grab them, and I'm out. I don't. You guys are there all day, so you guys see everything.
We're there with all the guests. We're there with all the
stress, all the alcohol comes in, and you guys see everything.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have like rentals and you come back and pick them up. But
yeah, that's my advice. Don't get rentals.
Just do plastic.
Yeah, it's cheaper. Enjoy the moment. I'm big on that. Really enjoy the moment because it's your day. It's your not even just a day. It's your whole life. If you're getting married, like really enjoy it. If you're planning, enjoy that. Whatever planning it is that they're doing, just enjoy that time. Don't focus too much on the details, like the small things. Everything works out. Your vendors will do it. Your wedding planner, they will figure out all the small details. Your photographers, like everything comes out. Just have fun.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And Hector, thank you for coming in and chatting with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions for myself, put them in the comments or go on Instagram at Rosas Flowers. That's ROSAS Flowers. And my email's on that phone number. It's all there.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.